We got the Chevy Colorado being towed in. You guys remember Miller the Filler? Yep, that's the truck. So the guy's cigarette lighter didn't work, right? And he's told me about this issue, and I told him, well, whatever you're plugging into it, stop plugging it in. It keeps blowing out the fuse. So apparently he tried to replace the fuse today himself, and after doing so, he said the car won't start. And he's tried moving fuses around like crazy, he said, and he said it won't start. So he just had it towed in, and that's where we are. Good old Miller the Filler. So I'm not gonna mess with this tonight, but let's just see what the truck is doing. Let's go ahead and turn the key. Absolutely nothing. You can see the headlights dim down when you turn the key. Don't know what that's about, but remember, the truck was running just fine before he started moving fuses. So I don't know, it can't be too bad of what he did, right? So I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow. All right, sorry for the wind noise, guys, but it's the next day. We're looking at this Colorado. I checked the battery right now, just doing, regular voltmeter, and we have 12.4 volts here. So what I want to do right away is go for the starter relay. You can see it right there. I already removed the relay. Let's just simply bypass it. Let's see if the starter even cranks. And it does. All right, so that's good. I'm not suspecting a battery issue. The wiring to the starter seems to be fine. So we got to figure out what we're missing. So obviously the load side of this thing seems to be fine. What about the control side? Okay guys, everybody pack up. Nothing to see here. Oh, hey John, what did you do? Well, let me show you what I did. And it's definitely running like crap. But it is starting now. So here at the fuse panel again, I noticed that this fuse right here, this 10, was missing. And if you look right here, that 10 amp is going to be a PCMI. Don't know what that's for, but that's the only change I did here other than moving some fuses around. So we're going to pull that fuse back out again and see if it causes our no crank situation one more time. If the car still starts up with that PCMI fuse removed, then that just means there was a bad connection here, and by me moving some of the relays or some of the fuses around, making sure they were in, that's what caused the car to start right up. So let's go ahead and remove this fuse. We already know it starts. All right, so the fuse is removed. Let's go back in the truck and see if it's a no crank again. There we have it, guys. I'm turning the key. Christmas. And that's the same exact symptoms that we had before. It wouldn't do anything at all. So yeah, it was a fuse. He removed the fuse and forgot to put it back in. So I reinstalled that fuse. It should start right up again. There it goes. All right guys, so this one's done. It was pretty straightforward. The owner can come pick up his truck now, and that's it. Give it a little bit of a rev up tune up. Oh, calm down, Scotty Kilmer. Rev up your engines. I wonder if pulling out that fuse kind of resets like field term values and all of its other learned values. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what that PCMI fuse is for. And at this point, I really don't care what it's for. The car came here, it got towed in because it wouldn't start, and obviously it's starting now. It's not happy though. And I just realized this thing is saying reduced engine power. See it right there, reduced. Yeah, this thing isn't gonna go anywhere. It has to get fixed, whatever the heck is going on here. So I'm just doing a full report here. As you can see, here goes our codes: throttle, actuator, position, performance, and ignition switch circuit. One thing we got to keep in mind is that the truck was running perfectly fine before the owner started messing with those fuses. I want to see if there's a fuse dedicated to the throttle body. If not, we'll look into a little bit further. I'm also going to go ahead and delete these codes and see if they come back right away. We'll save this report real fast. So I went ahead and cleared the codes, and let's back out of here. Turn the key off and we'll start it right back up again and see how it acts. Okay, still running like crap. Let's go ahead and check for codes. See that? Minimum throttle position not learned. That's exactly what I was expecting, that we would have some sort of learned value basically erased. So let me see if with this scanner I can do some sort of a relearn procedure. So I could not find a throttle relearn on the scanner, so that's unfortunate. We're just gonna have to keep looking around. Now, one thing I noticed is looking at this right there, you see we got the 3 fuses, the last one being injector 15 amp. We come down here, we have those 3, and then we have another fuse just sitting here. So that's nothing. I went ahead and pulled that out, and this fuse does not belong here. Guys, we found our missing fuse. He put it in the wrong spot. So this 10 amp is the one that belongs in the one I already replaced. So we found our missing fuse, but we still can't explain why the throttle body is acting like this. And I know these engines have a common issue with that throttle body, that they do this. They physically get locked up like that. So I don't know if we're dealing with a separate issue, but based off of what he said, the truck was running fine before he touched the fuses. I don't see a fuse here dedicated to the throttle body. All right, guys, so what I decided to do was just look at every empty spot and then just match it up to the legend here and see if there's something that's missing. So I'm just working my way through it, and then I come to these 3 top ones, right? Okay, so come up here. So we got an empty spot right there, so there shouldn't be anything. The door lock, this thing probably doesn't have power lock, so I'm not worried about that. But we have a ETC 15 amp. That fuse is missing. And if we look here very closely, see how that looks properly dirty all the way through? So does the top one. That center one looks like at one point there might have been a fuse in there. You can see how it's not completely just covered in dirt. And ETC, what is that? Could that be electronic throttle control? I wonder. Now I don't have a 15 amp with me. I could go get it right now, but we do have a 10 amp on hand. Let me make sure it's good. Yes, it is good. So let's put that right there. Okay. Let's start this bad boy up and see if our throttle body is working. And there we have it, guys. That's funny, right? It's running perfectly, guys. So what's the moral of the story? Don't go poking around with shit you don't know. And here's another thing, it's almost common sense. Don't start pulling fuses out just randomly. If you're gonna check fuses, do it one at a time, so that as soon as you pull it out, if it looks good, put it exactly back where it came from. That's the moral of the story. There's nothing wrong with checking your own fuses, okay? That's fine, you could do that. Just make sure you put it back. Don't just take 10 fuses out all at once and then not remember where they go. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear the check engine light and see if anything comes back, but it shouldn't. It's running way better now. Let's give it the classic Scotty Kilmer. Oh wait, that's Tim the Toolman Taylor. All right, let me clear out these codes. All right, so I replaced that 10 amp fuse with the correct one. I put a 15 amp, and in case you don't believe me, here goes the one I pulled out. So I did put the correct fuse for that ETC, and I cleared the codes right now. Let's go ahead and start it. Starts up like a champ, running nice and smooth. Sweet, no codes. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it with this one. The truck is running nice and smooth. The owner can come pick it up. I'm gonna tell him to just leave this whole cigarette lighter thing that shows my age right there, right? Cigarette lighter, to just leave it alone, because it's not the first time he's had this issue with fuses blowing on this thing. I told him, whatever you're plugging into this, stop doing it. Find a different accessory, find something else to charge your phone. I don't know, but just, you know, stop dealing with this, because it's costing him downtime. It's costing him money over something so silly. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. The truck is running nice and smooth, and we are done here. Let's move on to the next car.